nice glasses. You look great. Oh my god, of course you would wear sunglasses. Sun probably hurts your eyes. It makes sense. It's just like, wow. I was unprepared. Okay. Why do you have such a problem with Shakespeare anyway? I gave him a teasing grin. You didn't know him personally, did you? 1000% done face. Mark let out an exasperated sigh. Oh, I did not. I'm only 18 years old. So, no 200-year-old vampires go to high school? No. That's a relief, because frankly, that would be a bit weird. Especially if they were that old and still didn't understand Shakespeare. As you can imagine, most vampires that age have better things to do than spend time with adolescent humans. I'm glad. That's one thing that's always weirded me out in modern books. Same. It isn't entirely unheard of for some older creatures to briefly attend school. Some beings struggle to understand the passage of time. Before they realize it, decades or even centuries have passed. A modern high school isn't a terrible place to update one's knowledge of present culture. But it's not especially common. And vampires fit into human culture enough that it's typically not a problem for us. I see. If you're going to become a part of this world, you may as well forget what you've learned from modern books. Folklore and myth have some basis in fact, but your typical fantasy novel is nothing but the imaginings of writers following modern trends. Harsh. Don't care much for fiction? On the contrary, I enjoy fiction, but I find myself more drawn to classics than most of what's published today. I can respect that. Excuse me. I turned around at the sound of a voice behind us, and... Oh. If this is because I didn't help you, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. It was the old woman from before. Startled, I instinctively grabbed Mark's arm, moving slightly behind him. He jumped at the sudden touch, but didn't pull away. I'm using you as a shield. He was lucky I'd grabbed just his arm. It took every ounce of willpower I had to not try to climb on his back in a panic. That would be amazing. Hello again, dear. Nope. Time to go. I'm with my boy. We're running. I didn't respond. Instead, I started dragging him the direction we'd already been going. Time to go! Nora, what's... Mark, now! Wait. I broke into a run, dragging Mark behind me. To my surprise, he obediently followed. I didn't check to see if the woman was following. I hope you realize we already passed my car. Look, you didn't see the tree lady, okay? Breathless, annoyed, and a little scared, I stopped to glare at him. A glance over my shoulder told me that at some point, as we fled a block and a half up the street, the old lady had vanished. You could have said something sooner. I'm curious how, exactly, you managed to run in those shoes without breaking an ankle. It's a rather surprising feat of acrobatics. Mark? Ah, were you expecting me to ask what that was about, then? If I do, will you actually tell me the truth this time? I just stood next to her at the crosswalk, that's all. I don't know why she followed me. Then, may I have my hand back? Aw, our first hand hold. I released it instantly, giving him a sheepish look. Sorry. I peered down the street worriedly. Ugh, what if she came back? What if she kept following me or showed up at home? Damn it. What did she even want from me? Why was she following me in the first place? Stop worrying. Many cryptids have a short attention span, and the fact that you are with me should deter her. You think she's afraid of vampires? Anyone with an ounce of wisdom is afraid of crossing a vampire. I'll have to remember that. Not that you've ever displayed an ounce of wisdom. I made a swipe at him with my foot. Have you always been this adept at getting yourself into trouble?
Given my history, yes, I would say so.
Can you at least pretend to make an effort to stay safe?
What's the point in that? You're the one who always says I can't lie to you.
From now on, when we're meeting here, I will drive you, no matter what. And if Allie can't drive you home, I will ensure I do it. You're not to walk by yourself. Not for the next week at the very least.
What are you, my bodyguard now?
Clearly someone has to be.
Have you always been this naggy? Just so you know, I am an independent woman, and I don't need no beautiful vampire boy being my bodyguard, but also if you want to stay, that's fine with me. I don't need a bodyguard.
Prove it by making wiser decisions. I don't have time to continue to fight off every cryptic you decide you want to take home as a pet.
I didn't want to take her home. I don't want her anywhere near my house. Ever.
Then stop talking to them.
I did not talk to her, you dummy! Fine, I get it. But for the record, it's just second nature to talk to people who talk to me first. It's been all of a week since I got involved in all of this. I'm still getting used to the idea that things might want to kill me, eat me, or claw my eyes out and fill them with black goop because, hey, why not? I get it. I'm a newbie. I'm trying.
If you were trying, you wouldn't repeatedly make the exact same error in judgment.
You know what? I'm what?
You're what?
She gets under his skin so easily. Do you not talk to anybody else? He raised an eyebrow. I cut myself off immediately, realizing I was about to prove his stupid point. Damn it, why did he have to be right? I'm wanting you to take me home. Now. He smirked as if he knew that wasn't what I'd been intending to say.
That's what I was planning to do before you delayed us.
Shut up. We mostly rode in silence. Marc was brooding, as he was wont to do. I was thinking about that old woman. It wasn't until we were crossing the bridge in my neighborhood that he spoke.
Nora.
Yeah? I was surprised he'd spoken at all, really.
There is one thing I wanted to say. I shouldn't have asked about your research in the murder. We should avoid talking about it there in the future.
Oh? I gave him a curious look. Why?
Has anyone ever explained to you what the murder really is?
Well, sort of. I mean, I get the gist of it. They're information brokers or whatever.
Not just that. They do find information or answers that people are seeking. They also solve problems and unravel mysteries. For a price.
I know that part too.
They're attracted to mysteries. But I don't think it would be wise for you to get involved with them. Their prices can be steep.
I mean, the only time I ever paid was a painting. That wasn't too bad. Alright, where's the pricing? The murderer doesn't do their work out of the goodness of their hearts. They don't work for free, after all. Everyone at the shop is a pillar, which is something of a special status in the paranormal community. That shop is their work. For them, solving problems is like a need. It's something they have to do. In some ways, because of their status, they exist a bit outside society. They have to be able to stay neutral so they can't get involved with things as they like. It always has to be from a professional standpoint, which seems a bit lonely to me. Aw, Corbin feels. Well, I don't have any money anyway, even if they wanted it.
They don't always ask for money.
Well, I'm not giving them a kidney, so they can forget it. He gave me a pained look. What? I need my kidneys.
Oh,
He sighed. Again. I seem to elicit that response a lot.
just be careful about what you discuss there, alright? I'll do the same.
I'll try. We didn't speak the rest of the way home. It was a short drive anyway. When we pulled into my driveway, Elliot was in his front yard. Well, hello. It's been a little while. I swear, if you start making plays on this route, that is fair play. I will allow that. He waved and I returned the gesture as I hopped out of the car. Work over already?
Yeah, we finished up for today. How was tutoring?
It was fine.
Oh? Maybe, if you have time, I could beg some help too. She doesn't have time. She is my reading partner after all.
And here comes the territorial aspect. Elliot scowled at him.
Nora, I'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you then. I shut the door and he drove off. I still can't figure out why you two don't get along. You're both vampires. Shouldn't you bond over liking the same blood type or something?
Ha ha. Maybe he doesn't like me because I'm just an infected. His family has a long lineage, you know.
What? That kind of discrimination is actually a thing?
It depends. I think there's some level of snobbery about being a natural. But the truth is, I'm pretty sure Marc just dislikes me personally.
Well, that's stupid.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind. Sometimes people just clash, right? It doesn't mean either of us is really the problem.
I guess, but still. Anyway, how did preparations go?
Oh, it was fine. Kinda boring and all. They give us the dull job since we're just students. For the most part, anyway.
What exactly do you guys do?
Mostly it's just checking on stuff. Certain areas are more prone to incidents than others, so we check them and make sure no weird gates are opening up or anything.
Weird gates. Sounds intense.
Not really. Like I said, it's pretty boring.
Marc said he has to help tomorrow too.
Yeah. He tries to avoid getting too involved with the agency and club activities, but they're not going to keep letting him off. Even if he cites tutoring as the reason. I heard Velos called his dad to complain.
Harsh.
Yeah. I guess his dad encouraged him to pull his weight.
You know, I could help too.
Nah, you're still learning the ropes.
Yeah, I expected him to shut me down instantly. Allie and Marc both already had several times.
You'll be ready to start helping out by the solstice, though. For now, you should just take the time to learn about yourself or whatever.
Solstice? You mean this isn't the only weird time of year?
I wish. Anyway, I gotta get back inside. Promise Mom I'd take care of some things before dinner.
See you tomorrow.
Same to you.
He waved and we parted ways.
Nora, honey, is that you?
Yeah, just got in.
Homework?
A little.
How was the tutoring session? Why didn't you invite him? What's his name? Marc? Why didn't you invite Marc inside? I'd like to meet him sometime.
Yeah, I bet you would, Mom. No.
Why not?
Because the first time you do meet him, you'll just say something embarrassing.
I won't.
You definitely will.
It's my job. You can't deny your mother the only thing that brings her joy.
If embarrassing me is the only thing that brings you joy, then you need new hobbies. She just laughed.
You could at least tell me about him. Is he cute?
Well, cute isn't the right word. He's good looking.
Ooh, good looking.
Mom, come on. He is totally not my type, and I'm pretty sure the only reason he even talks to me is because we're reading partners. Otherwise, I doubt he'd be aware of my existence.
All relationships have to start somewhere.
I rolled my eyes and started upstairs. This isn't a relationship. All we do is read and discuss how much he hates Shakespeare.
I still wouldn't mind meeting him sometime.
I'll think about it. I flopped on my bed with a groan. Mom was worse than me about overanalyzing things, honestly. Well, she probably just wanted to see me date someone. Neither Spencer nor I was much for social contact. She probably just wanted assurance we weren't going to end up old, alone, and owning dozens of ferrets before we finally just gave up on life and ate each other or something. Well, that escalated quickly. My phone chimed and I dug around in my bag for it. When I pulled it out, I saw a text from Marc, to my surprise. Just his color. Alright, it's just a teal boy.
Don't forget about moving the session to tomorrow morning. And don't do something stupid and walk home from school just because I'm not around to drive you.
Huh. You know, Allie was my ride before I met you.
Then I'll ensure she doesn't let you walk home tomorrow.
Hey, I don't need you to arrange my ride for me.
Perhaps. But it would be a shame if I lost my tutor. The exam is Friday.
Keep it up and you'll be studying for it alone.
I'll try to remember, since Shakespeare has almost been bearable with your help.
Huh. Idiot. Alright, I'll take that compliment. I smirked down at my phone. A few seconds later, it chimed again. I get it, Marc. Bye.
I will see you in the morning.
I smiled slightly. Wasn't expecting a goodnight text from Marc of all people. Ooh. He really was a total idiot. But in a good way. Sometimes, anyhow. Alright, I was wondering if this was going to be our first nighttime escapade. The stars were so beautiful, and so far away. I was sitting in my backyard near the fairy ring, staring up at the night sky. It was clear and so cold. I tried to pull my thin pajama shirt closer around me, but it was pointless. There wasn't enough fabric there to keep me warm. I sighed as I watched the treetops sway against the night sky. I wasn't sure how exactly I'd gotten outside. Well, you didn't get very far. I'd been having some kind of weird dream where I was watching myself walk out of the house. I'd been muttering softly as I shuffled through the wet grass. It was the muttering that woke me up. But instead of being snuggled in bed, I was actually standing outside in the wet grass just like I had been in the dream. It was eerie, and the feeling of waking up hadn't felt normal either. And now I was outside, staring up at the night sky, wondering why I kept doing this. This was already the third time. I'd done it once right after we came back, then again a couple of days later. I'd thought it was stress. At least the last 2 times I'd woken myself up before I'd gotten out of the yard. It was still unnerving, though. Even more unnerving was that sensation of being disconnected from my body. At this point, I didn't know if it was just sleepwalking or some strange out-of-body experience. I didn't know what to do. Should I tell Mom? What if it was connected to everything else happening to me? Now that's using your noggin. What if it wasn't just some normal sleep disorder? Mom wouldn't be able to help. Doctors wouldn't be able to help. I'd just kick up a fuss for nothing. Then again, if it was some normal sleep issue, I wondered if there were doctors that handled both. That would be the most convenient thing. Then again, how would I even navigate that? And did supernatural doctors accept insurance? Because I was pretty sure my normal doctor wouldn't cover out-of-body experiences and minor fey medical emergencies. It would have been nice if I could have just gone to some cool magical school for cryptics without worrying about this kind of thing. This wasn't cool. It was just real life, but now with magic and secrets complicating everything. Ugh, I can't solve any of this sitting outside in the cold. I lumbered to my feet and turned toward the house just in time to hear a decidedly metallic click come from the direction of the door. Did you lock me out? Spencer! My stomach sank as I saw a shadow flit across the window. Rushing up onto the little why can I not speak? Rushing up onto the little back porch, I reached for the door handle and it was locked. That's what I just heard, definitely. I cupped my hands around the glass and peered inside. No one was there. Spencer. He was the only one who would have locked me out. Come to think of it, he'd been downstairs on that first night when I got back inside, too. I also saw someone in the woods that night. Does that mean he knows about the sleepwalking? No, I couldn't assume that. It could have been the brownie or whatever. I knew so little about it that I shouldn't assume it was only out to get Spencer. Maybe it had taken to pranking me as well. Fortunately, we kept a spare key on the back porch. Ha, meh. A few short minutes later, I was letting myself back in. I felt a surge of relief as warm air washed over me. If I was going to keep sleepwalking myself outside, I really needed warmer pajamas. I locked the door and quietly stole back to my room, where I fell into bed and snuggled back into my blankets, still trying to decide what I should do about the situation. All right. Friendly Acquaintance, Chapter 2. Is that our new relationship status?
Nora, aren't you having breakfast?
I had coffee. Mom had just poked her head into the kitchen as I was shoving on my shoes so I could head outside and wait for Allie. It was a bit early, but my head was still a bit muddled after last night, and I really wasn't up for pretending life was normal in front of my family. It was hard enough on a normal day, much less after sleepwalking and potentially being locked out of the house by my brother. Avoiding him was on the top of my list of things to do as well. I had no idea how I'd face him and act natural. Though I had a feeling a nasty confrontation might be lurking on the horizon, and that was going to be so much fun.
Coffee is not breakfast, Nora.
I'll get something at school. My stomach's not feeling okay at the moment.
Oh? Are you starting to get sick?
Here we go. That was enough to get her to come toward me, a worried look on her face. Nope, I'm fine. I fended off her hands as she tried to reach for my forehead. Why does she always assume I have a fever if I'm not feeling well? The sudden sound of something falling down the stairs saved me. We looked over in unison, watching Spencer's car keys slowly roll to the bottom step. What the...
That's odd.
She immediately went to pick them up. Peering up, Spencer was nowhere in sight.
What on earth?
As she walked to put them back on the counter, I eyed the little brown creature that toddled down the stairs, chattering in a voice that sounded like dried twigs. It had definitely stolen his keys again. I guess even brownies get butterfingers occasionally.
You know, lately I've been getting the feeling the house might be haunted.
Oh? That seems... unlikely. I laughed awkwardly, glaring at the creature. I did not need Mom contemplating the house being haunted and thinking about weird things going on. What makes you say that?
I've just noticed a few odd things happening here and there.
Weird. I haven't noticed anything at all. Yeah, right. The brownie toddled under the table, heading in the direction of the keys. Don't you dare cause any more trouble, you little troll. Yeah, I don't know how to appease the brownie yet, and that's just gonna look super sus, so I'm gonna leave. I just needed to leave before anything weird happened. If it did something after I was gone, at least I wouldn't be a witness. I edged toward the door. Yeah, I just make a quick exit and avoid this little conversation about our haunted house, which was definitely haunted. Then again, is it a haunting if it's a fairy-related incident? Do fairies haunt, really? Still puzzling over vocabulary, I reach for the doorknob and...
Oh! I just thought of something!
I froze and looked up at her. What was that?
You joined that paranormal club thing, right?
Paranormal Mysteries Club, yeah.
Do you do ghost hunts? Maybe you should have all your little friends come to the house to investigate.
Yeah. I don't think we do those kinds of things in houses that have people in them.
Oh, why not?
I think they all prefer things like abandoned buildings and cemeteries. Don't ghosts usually prefer abandoned places?
How should I know? You're the one in a paranormal club. Shouldn't you know? What do you do in that club anyway?
Mostly I just read. Well, I don't know much about all of this kind of thing yet, so I'm just trying to catch up.
That's interesting. Didn't you say Danny and Elliot are in it too?
Yeah, and Mark, the guy I tutor.
Oh, right! Mark, the guy you tutor.
Stop saying that in such a creepily suggestive way.
Are you going to invite him in today?
We're not meeting this afternoon. He has something else to do, so we're meeting before school, which is why I should be going.
Well, I still want to meet him sometime.
Fine. I do want to hear your thoughts, Mom. I waved as I trudged outside and pulled my jacket closer. Ugh. A conversation with Mom about the paranormal. Just what I did not want to be doing. I made a face as I clambered down off the porch, shoving my hands in my pockets. To be honest, what I was most concerned about, at the moment anyway, was Spencer. I still wasn't sure if he was the one that had tried to lock me out last night. If he did... I frowned. Well, it could just be another of his stupid jerk moves. But most likely he'd noticed me sleepwalking and had decided it was suspicious. Which, well, it was a bit weird. Couldn't argue there. If that had been him in the woods the first night, it would make sense with the fact that he had his shoes and everything on when I got back inside. More sense than him thinking someone broke in and casually going to investigate without waking up Dad. But that meant two things. First, that he'd been watching me closely enough to notice me leaving, and then that he'd followed me without waking me up. And I had no idea what I'd been doing up until that moment either. I dragged my hands through my hair as I saw Allie coming up the road to me. I wondered if I should talk to her about it. I didn't want to stress her out more than she already was, but this was important. I was staring silently out the window for most of the drive. Allie only gave me a few minutes before she questioned it.
So, what's up?
What do you mean?
I mean, what's up? You've been quiet for a while now, and you look like something's bothering you.
Oh, Why can't I hide things from you?
Because I know you too well, and because your poker face sucks.
I sighed again. Well, that's something I need to work on, I guess. Maybe that's how Mark also always seems to know what I'm thinking. But it would be a problem if Mom and Dad started being able to read my mind too. Then again, I'd managed to sneak out 3 times and they had no clue. And yet Allie had already figured out something was going on in 2 minutes. Clearly, she was just more intuitive. Or maybe they were just really dense.
Seriously, though, what's wrong? You really do look upset.
I looked at her cautiously. Promise you won't freak out?
Oh God, what happened now?
Well, I'm kind of worried Spencer is onto me.
Onto you?
I mean about the club. Being not normal. About me being not normal.
Well, I mean, he's been saying that last bit for years, and it's not like we didn't consider the possibility of him finding out.
I know, but... Okay, seriously, you have to promise you aren't going to freak out.
You keep saying that, and it's making me want to freak out even more.
I've been sleepwalking.
Okay.
Like, sleepwalking myself outside and into the woods. At night. Allie!
What?
Road! Look at the road!
Ah!
Allie shrieked and swerved back into her lane, narrowly missing an oncoming car. I clutched my chest as I stared through the windshield. Oh my god!
I'm sorry!
Please do not do that again.
Well, what did you expect when you dropped a bombshell like that on me in the car?
You said you wouldn't freak out.
I never actually said I wouldn't.
Allie!
Okay. I'm calm.
She took a deep breath.
You said you're sleepwalking yourself into the woods?
I gave her a sidelong look, trying to judge just how calm she really was. Well, I only actually ended up in the woods once. The other 2 times I only made it as far as the backyard when I woke up.
Jeez. Well, when did this start happening?
Actually, right after we moved here. The second night.
And you're just now saying something?
Well, at first I thought it might just be stress or something. I still don't know for sure that it's not. But that's not really the worst of it.
There's more?
Well, that first night I woke up in the woods not far from the house, and I sort of saw someone. Just a shadow. They ran off, though. But when I got back to the house, Spencer was downstairs. Completely clothed. With shoes on. He said that he heard me and thought it was a burglar. I kinda shrugged it off at the time.
You think that was him in the woods?
I'm starting to. Last night I woke up in the backyard, and I just was sitting out there for a while contemplating the situation. Then when I tried to go back inside, the door was locked. I mean, someone had to have locked it, and it wouldn't have been Mom or Dad.
But it could have been our angry idiot.
Yup. I mean, it could have been the house spirit too, so I don't want to jump to conclusions. But I did see a shadow through the window. And the brownie hasn't paid much attention to me in general. Its target is usually Spencer. And given his attitude lately...
Okay, let's just think about this rationally. Even if he has realized you're sleepwalking, what makes you think he's onto you regarding everything else? The sleepwalking is weird, but that doesn't mean it's paranormal.
I know. I'd usually agree with you, but I don't know. When it happens, it's like part of my brain is awake. I'm sort of aware of what's happening, but I can't really control my body. It doesn't feel like normal sleepwalking. And last night I woke myself up because I was muttering to myself. I mean, for all I know, I was muttering, I'm a fairy and the paranormal club is full of magical people. You know?
Okay, that could be a problem. But you don't know that it's paranormal or that you're broadcasting our secrets. We shouldn't overthink this just yet.
I know. I just worry. I can't say for sure what all Spencer knows, but he is suspicious of me. And it feels like it's gotten worse since we moved back. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to keep this secret for very long if he's already following me around, watching my every move. I gave Allie another sidelong look. She was staring at the road with a serious look on her face, but now that she was past the initial shock, she seemed less worried than I thought she would be.
To be honest, I've been thinking about this from the start. Not the sleepwalking. That is a whole new issue we need to talk more about. But I have worried about Spencer. When it comes to the club, well, It's hard enough to keep this secret in normal circumstances. I've always sort of thought Spencer would eventually catch on. I was hoping it would be later rather than sooner.
What do we do?
Nothing. For now. All we know is that Spencer might be watching you more closely than normal. There's no reason to assume he's got anything on the club or the rest of us yet. If he's keeping an eye on us, we'll just have to keep an eye on him too. What really worries me is the sleepwalking thing. I mean, that's weird.
Tell me about it.
The question is whether or not it's supernatural. It could just be a weird sleep dysfunction.
I know! I don't know what to do. Tell Mom and Dad? Keep it to myself?
Yeah, that's the tricky part. But I think that, for now, we should just keep a watch on that as well. You live conveniently close to 2 club members who are up and about a lot at night. We can ask Danny and Elliot to keep an eye out for you.
Ugh. I didn't really want to tell anyone else about it, much less have them keep an eye out for me wandering around in my pajamas. Maybe I should start sleeping in regular clothes.
Only until I can come up with some way to keep you in your room at night, okay? It's way too dangerous to let you just roam around unchecked. There are lots of barrier enchantments we can try for that. We just need to figure out the right one. It needs to be something your family hopefully won't notice. As long as we can just find a way to keep you in your room at night, it'll give us time to really figure out what's going on without worrying you're going to hurt yourself in the meantime. This isn't a good time of year to go wandering around at night.
Is it ever a good time of year for that?
Probably not.
Ugh. Allie pulled into a parking spot and turned off the car. We both sat in silence for a moment. Well, I'm glad we got it out in the open in, like, Chapter 2 without someone catching us in the act first, so kudos to Nora for that.
Thanks for telling me about this. I know it's all weird and overwhelming, but I'm glad you told me. At least now we can try to do something about it before it becomes a problem.
She gave me a quick hug. It would have been nice if all I had to worry about was researching my past.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know of anyone who's had an easy transition into this life, unless they knew about it from birth. Danny had a traumatic werewolf attack, and an even more traumatic first transformation. Elliot had a traumatic vampire attack. I nearly died. And Ewan, well, yeah. I mean, the whole head thing.
That makes me feel so much better. Then again, I probably should be glad I didn't have body parts suddenly falling off. Explaining that to my family would be way worse than potentially explaining something as simple as sleepwalking.
I'm just saying that we know how you feel, and it's not uncommon for there to be some bumps along the road as you try to get situated, okay? Seriously, this is nothing compared to some of what happened to me when my magic first awakened. You'll be fine.
You know, I really want to hear that story someday. Please.
It's a good one. I'll be sure to tell you after the holiday is over and I have time. We'll talk more later, okay? I'm going to give that barrier thing some serious thought.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. I'll see you later, okay?
Yeah. She waved and trotted off toward the office, leaving me to my own devices.